Welcome to the Frictionless Innkeeper Podcast. Coming right up, fresh tips and insights from lodging professionals aimed at helping you improve your business. Our podcast is brought to you by the Frictionless Guest App, the digital concierge that helps your guests to live like locals. Learn how at frictionlessguest.com. Steve Short, how are you, my friend?
Matt Langen, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. So we just recorded a Frictionless Innkeeper podcast interview with Kerri Thiel, who's the executive director of the Midwest Association of Independent Inns, along with Randy Bangs, who we've interviewed previously. And he is the board VP marketing chair for the Midwest Association of Independent Inns. And this particular story caught my attention because it really seems to focus around kind of the evolution of state and regional associations for independent lodging.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what you've got is, Randy and Kerri coming initially from Wisconsin, where they were successful and took a heavy marketing slant. And that's why they were successful in a strong state association. And basically seeing the trends out there that, for some of the state associations have not been very positive. And, basically because of the world of the internet and Google and, a lot of these larger OTAs, whatever, those trends make it challenging. So what they've done is, I think, seen this opportunity to kind of broaden the market and kind of aggregate beyond just state lines to be able to say, okay, we can actually be stronger if we kind of pull together. And it also helps not just from a cost sort of perspective for the association, but from a marketing perspective of saying, hey, we can go outside the lines. You can broaden your market. And and we'll see. I mean, it's relatively new. They just kicking this thing off pretty much, but it seems like a smart way to go, an interesting concept. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Very interesting concept. And with that in mind, we hope you enjoy this Frictionless Innkeeper podcast interview with Kerri Thiel and Randy Bangs from the Midwest Association of Independent Inns. And Kerri, Randy, and Steve, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having us, Matt and Steve. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Steve.
Sure. Steve Short, how are you?
Matthew, I'm doing well. And Kerri and Randy, thanks a lot. We do appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, we do appreciate this. And it's great having multiple people on one podcast. Certainly makes for a dynamic conversation. And let's really kick it off at the top. If you don't mind, tell us about the Midwest Association of Independent Inns. And we'll start with Kerri on this one.
Sounds great. Well, the Midwest Association of Independent Inns really began with a vision of Wisconsin Bed and Breakfast Association as we kind of were there and talking and looking at the success that we had with our website and our marketing initiatives. And we were really thinking through how can we take what we've done and learned and morph it into a regional association. So in other words, the time just seemed right with just the dynamics of the hospitality and travel industry. Many state associations closing, being challenged with, volunteers or paid staff, limited funds. And Wisconsin was doing well. And yet we wanted to go ahead and just make sure that this group of independent inns always had representation and were able to go ahead and be supported by an association and how best to do that. And, we worked for several years and really were quite excited about offering this particular association across the Midwest. And here we are. And that kind of at least sets the stage a little bit.
Yeah, I think in 2018, end of 2018, early 2019, I think the Wisconsin Bed and Breakfast Association really kind of re-examined itself and what we were doing for our membership and how we could be a more sustainable, more successful organization. And we recrafted ourselves as a kind of a marketing driven organization that still provides the advocacy, still provides the education, still provides the camaraderie of the historic association, but also realized that for our survival, that we would really need to provide a return on investment to our various members. And then through that learning and through that experience, where we were generating 14, 18, 21 times return on investment for our members, we looked at our associations across the Midwest and realized that there was a real void there, that a lot of people felt like they were a little disenfranchised. They weren't getting from the other associations what they really had hoped for, and that for the success of those states and for the success of us as a long-term organization, we looked at the Midwest as being the natural, logical, succession plan. And that's where we are today. We're really trying to reinvent what an association can be and really capitalize on the fact that when people think about travel, they don't think about state lines. If you're a Blues Fest fan and you're looking at Great Blues Fest, you don't care whether it's in Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Upper Peninsula, Illinois. You just want to see great Blues Fest that are within drivable distance. And being an association of Midwest properties, we can really leverage that from a travel point of view.
What are the states that are covered by the Midwest Association?
We hope to expand all the way into all 13 of the Midwest states. So right now we have Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, and Nebraska, with plans to continue welcoming inns throughout the Midwest, all 13 areas. So we're getting the word out. We, again, appreciate Matt and Steve, the opportunity to have this be part of that. And yeah, the great Midwest.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think the important thing is to recognize that we're not a predatory organization. We're not trying to take over other states, but we look at what we're doing and how it's different from other states and see it as an opportunity for inns across the Midwest to gain additional benefit, even if they decide that they still want to be part of their existing state organization.
Yeah, makes sense. So, wow, it was a couple years ago then that you thought more about, hey, what we've learned, what we've been able to do with the ROI for our members in Wisconsin. Maybe we should look at expanding that to more of a Midwest regional kind of approach. Is that right? So you're saying that Wisconsin first kind of turned a corner in 2018, 2019, and then with that success, then it was a couple years ago that you started talking about more regional ideas. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. As you look at what the traveler is looking for and what they're doing and the needs of our innkeepers, it kind of converged a little bit. And as Randy and I both said, we're seeing and hearing that people really aren't looking at state lines. They want to be able to travel and stay at unique lodging throughout. And the way the website is designed is kind of the best of the Midwest. Extraordinary destinations, unique lodging, and amazing experiences. So if we can do all we can to drive people to this website so that they can find those three key things, it's going to help our innkeepers and it's going to drive people to the Midwest. And that's our hope. So whether you're talking about the SEO initiatives, the Google Ads initiatives, the blogging initiatives, just the way we worked to design the website so it's very feature rich. It is an opportunity to be that go-to guide. So as we say, fully immerse yourself in the Midwest state of mind, if you will. So, choosing lodging from this impressive collection of independent inns, bed and breakfasts, boutique hotels, cabins, it is really, again, a key for travelers and for people to say, this is an association that I might want to think about being part of because we do want to expand our market. And what a better way to do it than look at something not just in your state, but regionally as well.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we discovered when it was the Wisconsin Bed and Breakfast Association was that travelers really didn't want to just go to a site where they were looking at bed and breakfast or inns. They wanted to go to a site that really sparked their interest in travel. And we slowly became a little bit more travel desk just for took that concept from Wisconsin Bed and Breakfast Association to the Midwest Association of Independent Inns and kind of put it on steroids and said, hey, we want to be one of, if not the most relevant travel sites for people who are looking to explore the Midwest. And by the way, if you're looking for a great place to stay, we represent some of the best options in the Midwest.
So what you're really talking about is the approach of more content marketing rather than just, hey, here's our website, here's all the places you can go to, find it, and that's it. You're trying to focus more on, okay, I'm looking to go out to the Midwest somewhere. I might not know exactly what I might want. I kind of do, but I don't really know where to find it. I can actually use the website as a resource to figure out cool things to do the research almost really, and then book at that point. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's absolutely part of it. I have a good example where I had to be driving from Wisconsin, through Minnesota and wanted to bring my bike and hopped on our site, looked at the biking blogs, looked at the things to do in the Midwest blogs, and was able to kind of craft, where and what I wanted to do, and then found places to stay along the way. So I think it does a good job of that, and we're going to continue to kind of build that. So, and it's also one of those things where we have a gift certificate program. Somebody can purchase the gift certificate right online. It can be used at any of the Midwest states that are members. So, if I want to buy one and my kids live in Iowa and then I have other kids in Wisconsin, they've got some possibilities to use it throughout. So there's other things within the website that is beneficial to both the traveler as well as, the innkeeper. So again, economic synergies, kind of that influence of a regional association, one website, one professional staff newsletter, Google Ads manager, buying power. We're trying to capitalize on, again, being relevant and being sustainable.
If I'm an innkeeper outside of Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, am I able to join?
Oh, yeah. Any of the Midwest states are able to join us. We have accumulated through much work some good databases and have sent some initial press releases out of this new regional concept with some invitations to join. There's ways to join right up on our website. People can contact us. We'd love to share a little bit more. As we mentioned, it's certainly a marketing-driven organization. We're all small business owners. Randy owns inns. I owned an inn for 15 years. You need to be able to maximize the dollars that you have and know that you're going to utilize your dollars for advertising and marketing in the best possible way. And there's a lot of people, pulling at us to do this or to do that. And so it is important for us to show the innkeeper value and to show the boutique hotel owners value. And so a return on investment is huge for us, and we're working towards that, just like we had for Wisconsin.
Yeah, Stephen, I think one of the most interesting and compelling byproducts of what we're doing is that we have had other states, not even close to the Midwest, who have taken notice of what we're doing and actually had conversations with Kerri about the concept of a regional association and whether it might make sense to them. And I think that really just reinforces the idea that this more regional concept association might be the wave of the future.
And it's exciting because, whether you're talking about all of us being at a conference or just being together at whatever event or just having that vast experience of different opinions and ideas, right? Just having different ideas, different people sharing, the networking. It really is kind of at the heart of all of this. We are always open to new ideas. We're into sharing, not only from an association standpoint, but innkeeper to innkeeper. And so to be able to facilitate that as an association we're very grateful and very thankful.
Why do you think some of the state associations had so many issues? I mean, is it truly economies of scale, probably? What are the challenges there that you hope to overcome as a regional?
Yeah, I mean, I've had an opportunity to talk to many state association leaders, and some of the challenges, are innkeepers are busy. And so, there's a lot to do. And so here at the Midwest Association of Independent Inns, we have paid staff, and this is their job. Now, I was in sales and marketing, for years in corporate America. I was an innkeeper for 15 years. I love what I do, and this is what I do. And so the whole issue of paid staff, people to be able to do the work, a lot of the state associations didn't have that. Some do, for sure, but some didn't. And then you're relying on volunteers. And so what innkeepers want is all of the benefits, but yet to keep it at a reasonable dollar amount. So volunteerism time is one of them. Obviously, you want to be able to give your innkeepers lots of good benefits, whether you are talking about educational opportunities, social media, marketing, a robust website that will drive heads to beds. And again, when you have more kind of, you said, Steve, kind of a bigger scale, that whole economy of scale comes into play. And that's very helpful.
Yeah, I think the other part of it, Steve, is that if you look at state association, B&B associations across the country, most of them are not set up as marketing-driven organizations. And so when you look at the relevancy of an association that doesn't provide a positive return on investment, it really begs whether they're going to be able to survive. If you look at the historical aspect of the bed and breakfast associations across the country, there was a time period, kind of pre-internet and early internet, where the only way you were going to be found was through a state association. And as things morphed, as Google's, became a much more prominent player, the idea that a consumer would need to go to a state association to find places to stay became less and less relevant. And as a result of that, you saw declining traffic on most state association sites. And state associations didn't necessarily have the talent within those associations to really understand and successfully drive traffic. Our association was within in a unique position. We had an executive director who had a marketing and sales background. We had members of our association that had a marketing background. And we said that we believed that there was an opportunity for us to really reframe kind of who we were and how we would do business. And so I think that really was kind of a defining moment for us. And I think that really is kind of where, if you look at state associations across the country, where you see most associations struggling is because, I don't have to be a member of this association to really be successful. And I think we've tried to convey to our members that we are going to offer you a positive return on investment, and we're going to provide you those other ancillary benefits that are so important to you as well, like education, like advocacy, like camaraderie. So I think it was really a combination of those factors.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, it all comes down. I mean, ultimately, it's a business. And like you say, there has to be a reason for membership and what you get out of it. And heads and beds is ultimately, the marketing is ultimately the most important thing. So now how do you, I guess maybe I'm asking, how did you with Wisconsin and how are you? You kind of explained some of this, but you still have challenges against the Googles and OTAs of the world and all of that, right? So I guess you've answered part of this and maybe all of it, I don't know, but maybe you want to expand on the approach of So, content marketing, basically like any other marketing approach, you got to drive people to the website pretty much, right? So I'm just curious if there's anything more you want to talk about in terms of the strategy there.
So we have a very robust blog campaign and a very robust Google Ads campaign that drives traffic to our site. And at the end of the day, it's about visibility. What an association does, whether it's, B&B Finder, whether it's Midwest Inns, whether it's Airbnb, what an association does is it provides traffic to consumers showcasing your property. And the more visibility you have, the more likely you are to get bookings. So with our robust blog campaign, what that does is it identifies people who have an interest in a particular thing, whether it's waterfalls, whether it's, blues fest, as I mentioned before, whether it's art festivals, whether it's cool cities or small cities, or whatever that subject matter is that's in the blog fest. It's a way for consumers to find you and then learn about the opportunities in that area and then the relevant properties associated with that. With the Google Ads strategy, that's more about putting ourselves in front of people who are specifically looking for lodging in a particular area. So that's a much more targeted consumer. They're already decided they want to do some travel and they're looking in specific areas. We want to be relevant. We want to make sure we come up. And in the process of coming up, then we hope that we can lead to some conversions and at the same time, increase the visibility of all of our members. I mean, one of the key components of our strategy is that we know that there are properties in the state of Wisconsin that maybe historically have felt we don't need to be part of the Wisconsin Bed and Breakfast Association, because if you're already looking for a bed and breakfast in Wisconsin, maybe you're already aware of us. However, as we become a larger, more regional association, now that person that lives in Minnesota who may not be as familiar with the properties and the markets in Wisconsin, all of a sudden see a particular property showcased and they say, wow, that place looks amazing. I'd really like to stay there. And so now we're bringing visibility to our membership that really historically wasn't necessarily as relevant outside the boundaries of our existing state.
Well, and the
Yeah.
way you can search for these unique properties also makes it easy for travelers to say, okay, I do want to go ahead and do a bike trip and I have identified where I want to be. Now, how do I find the right inn? So you can search by amenity, you can search by city, you can search all different ways. And then the website, we're spending a lot of time on that because it was a beautiful relaunch and we hope everyone takes some time to look at it. But you asked about how else are we getting the word out? We have over almost 10,000 subscribers to an online newsletter where we feature properties and we feature travel. And that's another way in which we do it. Our social media, both on Facebook and Instagram, will continue to help get that word out. We have rack cards that have the QR code for the Midwest Association of Independent Inns. We are, distributing that at, everything from welcome centers to chambers, and that effort will continue, so there are ways in which we are doing things beyond just the website. So, but the website is what is very unique and different, and we're very excited about sharing that and welcoming people.
It's a recent launch, is it not? I was just wondering timing.
Yeah, the website. So we made, as you transition from the Wisconsin Bed and Breakfast Association to the Midwest Association of Independent Inns, it's a transition. So the new enhanced website was just launched in April. So it is new and exciting. So that's kind of the timing of it. Although it's been a transition, the website is now completed. And when we say completed, it's always going to be enhanced with additional pages and things like that. But the vision has now been realized in terms of that phase. So,
yeah, and just keep in mind just how the Midwest Association of Inns is impacted by other associations joining forces with us, because now when someone in Nebraska joins us, when they look to go to the Nebraska Association, they now actually get to the Midwest Association. So we're now increasing the number of people who are going to be hitting the Midwest Association site. Those people who were open to getting newsletters and such, now they're going to get the newsletters from the Midwest Association. So there's really kind of almost an exponential growth, both in terms of people who would see the site, but also in terms of our search optimization, on Google, because now we become a much more relevant player within search engine optimization of Google.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent. So, and I do want to talk about some other stuff other than just the marketing, even though that's kind of the core thing. But to finish up on that, if I go to the website, even if I start with a blog post, let's say, but I say, hey, this sounds pretty neat. Like, actually, the Blues Fest sounds pretty neat. Truly, honestly, Randy, I want to find out more about that. But so I say, okay, well, let me find a place to stay while I'm at the Blues Fest. Am I able to, I know I'm going to be able to see the various options, who were members. Am I able to book directly through the website, or am I being redirected to their booking engine, or how does that work?
Yeah, we're happy to let you know that you can get to a site and book directly and hit the check availability, book now button. You're able to do that. It makes it easy for the traveler. It makes it easy for the inn. For those that are able to do that, they can also click the button and go right to their website as well. So there's a variety of different ways in which you can do it. So we're happy to be able to say that. There's interactive maps that you can, go in and go out and say, oh, I think right about there, click on it. You'll see the picture. You'll see all the contact information. You'll see the amenities. You'll see the description. And then you'll see, where you're able to book directly on our site and or go directly to, click on their availability calendar as well.
And one of the things that makes that particularly valuable is that if a consumer were to book directly through our site at your property, you get all of the contact information. You are charged no additional fees. I mean, it's as though they booked directly through their own site. In fact, in reality, you are actually booking directly through the property's own site. It's just being, funneled through our site. So you get all the benefits of getting the bookings through us and the visibility through us, but at the same time, you get all the information at no cost.
And we have worked to do a custom dashboard, so a lot of the Google Analytics can be captured and shared with our innkeepers as well. And, I think that, we talked a lot about, marketing and return on investment and business, but, a lot of people will say, well, there's so many options out there. What do I want to be on? And I think that, we are passionate, dedicated innkeepers that, are unique and different. We just are, the independent hospitality lodging. This is special. And to have a website and to have an association speak to the uniqueness of these independent lodging, it's huge because, I can be on Airbnb, I can be over here on booking.com, but this is, supporting a local specialized lodging industry that's just simply unique. And now you couple just the Midwest, it even makes it more unique. And I think that anytime you can join your regional local association, it has a lot of benefits and advantages for sure. And it helps the association by having vast array of people as well. So,
and Steve, I want to emphasize, we were in such an incredibly fortunate position to have Kerri Thiel as our executive director, because she's not only one of the most intelligent and responsive individuals within the country at the association level, but she's incredibly dedicated. She's willing to listen. She's willing to help people in whatever way that we can or that she can. I mean, we were just in a kind of a unique situation, and Kerri is a critical part of our success, because without someone with her kind of skill base and her dedication and her knowledge, it would be very hard to pull something like this off. And so I just don't want to underestimate the value that Kerri brings to this equation. It's not like we could just do this with anyone. We had one of, if not the best executive directors in the country, and we knew that, and we wanted to leverage that.
But you have to remember, I mean, we have a board of 10 people. All the states are represented, and vast experience there, from people that used to be in the hotel industry to, the restaurant business to marketing. I've worked through my career on many boards, and this is one of the strongest boards, and that helps as well. So we're excited.
Kerri, what you had talked about in terms of having that regional, or not so much the regional, the niche of bed and breakfast inns, that unique experience, just from a traveler's perspective, that's really important to me personally. My wife and I, anytime I travel, whether it's with her or not, kids or not, we just like the unique experience of the bed and breakfast, the inn, that sort of thing. And it's so frustrating to go on Google or wherever and just have all of these hotels thrown in. It's like, I just want to wade through all of that junk, right? I mean, it's kind of the same concept as Frictionless. The guest wants to wade through all of the bad restaurants and all of that stuff and get a more curated experience as far as, once they're there. In this case, it's the same thing, but the fact you exist as, by definition, as a curated association of great places to go to that are unique, that aren't thrown in with all of the hotels and motels and whatever else that's out there. So I certainly want the best for you all, and obviously the whole industry, but I think it's hugely important what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate hearing that, because, I always tell people, no matter what type of property you identify with that you want to stay at, our membership has it. Whether you're talking about cabins in the woods, whether you are talking about a farm stay, whether you're talking about a beautiful Victorian mansion, whether you're talking about, a downtown urban Frank Lloyd Wright style property, we've got that, and the ability to easily find it. So it's a variety of architecture, a variety of types of properties, but there's something that holds true, which is we're dedicated here with this association to maintaining the high standards of quality. We have a standards criteria process because we are committed to safety, cleanliness, service, and hospitality. And that becomes even more important, right? Ever since COVID, people are wanting to know the places that they're staying. And our properties, we have a unique ability to be able to have people feel as if they're getting incredible service, knowing all the innkeeper tips and the concierge service, yet knowing they can be left alone as well. I know I do a lot of travel, and I want to feel like somebody knows my name and has my needs, in their mind and can be of help, yet have that privacy. So it is a select group of wonderful properties that are curated and that you can find. And that's different than just going to any site and weeding through all of that. So you're right, Stephen. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Absolutely.
One of the things that, that underscores the success and vitality of our industry is that we offer unique experiences. I think one of the staples of the Marriott Courtyards of the world is that you get consistency, but you really don't get an experience, right? What we offer is we offer unique experiences, whether that's being able to play with the goats at someone's property, or have a cabin in the woods, or or have a downtown loft or a Victorian mansion, in most cases with, a significant amount of hospitality included. But we have properties where the interaction with an innkeeper might be non-existent. And that's okay, because not everyone is looking for the same thing. We don't want to necessarily be the McDonald's of our industry. In fact, frankly, we don't want to be the McDonald's of our industry, but we do want to be the association that has high standards and that offers, curated properties, but also curated experiences.
Yep, definitely. Good. Do you want to wrap up talking about some of the other things that are important beyond the marketing and kind of wrap up that way?
I mean, sure, we've touched on that a little bit. We do spend a bit of time with just being here in general office support, the phone calls that say, I need a great photographer. Can you please help me or direct me? Or, so we do provide support, whether it's, can you help me? I know I've got it somewhere about, ADA compliance and how that all works. I mean, we provide support as well as advocacy work. The whole quality standards program, certainly the gift certificate program that we talked about. We are big into education, whether we're talking about the annual conference and trade show, our board of directors meetings or regional meetings that can take place per the requests of members. We're all about networking, whether it's setting up a private Facebook member group so people can commiserate, ask questions, learn, grow. We facilitate that. We are coming out with more of an educational newsletter that will go beyond just travel, but be able to inform people of what's happening in our industry, whether that's products or services. We certainly do an aspiring innkeeper seminar each year. The B&B team will be part of that co-sponsorship this year. We're thrilled. If people are selling their inns, we want to be able to, we have an inns for sale page where, people can go and we can help people as well as help people looking for, a lodging facility. And we work collaboratively with our partners and our vendors. And thank you again, Steve, to provide information through, Frictionless Guest App. And you'll be at our conference and supporting us through the Frictionless Guest App for our conference, which is huge. So a lot of different things and opportunities that come our way that we may not even know about. A travel writer calls and says, I'm doing a piece in Bayfield. Can you help us out? And whatever it is. So we try to provide the help and support for our members in a variety of ways. And, we welcome, like I said, people to join us, whether you're an independent inn, you belong to another association, but want to jump into this as well. A lot of different benefits we feel.
Excellent. Randy, do you want to add anything to that? I know you're more the marketing guy, but
Yeah. I try to be more than a one-trick pony, but the only thing I will say is that as we morph into more of a Midwest association and we get more members and more diverse members, I find that our association offers incremental values to its members because now we have more people that we can leverage for our own interests and our own success because we have a more diverse, population of properties that bring different experiences and different insights to the equation. I mean, it's been very exciting, for us as we transition from a Wisconsin Bed and Breakfast Association to a Midwest association and see the plethora of new properties that now can serve on our board and serve on our education committee and really kind of mentor some of those other properties that are interested or those other people who are interested in starting their own properties.
Yeah, excellent. I know we're going to try to catch up with you all later in the year as we near the conference season, I guess. But Kerri, do you have, sorry to put you on the spot, but your conference and trade show this year, can you give the basics on that so that people know now?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, our Midwest Association of Independent Inns Conference will be held this year, December 3rd through the 5th, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It starts in the afternoon on Tuesday and will conclude on Thursday around 1. So you've got, plenty of travel time there. It will be held in Cedar Falls, Iowa, and it is a beautiful facility. The Holiday Inn is combined in with the events facility there. So lots of good space for both vendors as well as speaking engagements and receptions and you name it. So we're thrilled. It'll have a lot of various speakers and topics and innkeeper to innkeeper sharing sessions. We're going to be having, an optional evening event on Wednesday that will bring us to tour one of the oldest, longest running boutique hotels in the country. And we will be touring the Black Hawk Hotel in downtown Cedar Falls. And that'll be after we hear the owner speak on some of the historical significance and keeping true to your brand and watching changing customer needs and how that all worked. There'll be a dinner and there'll be some entertainment, and it's that first, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of December. So after all the Thanksgiving stuff is over and before all the Christmas stuff happens. So yeah, and then the Aspiring Innkeeper Seminar will be held in conjunction with our conference, which is Monday, December 2nd from 9 to 5 at the same facility. So if you go on our website, you'll find more information. We'd love to invite everyone. And Steve, we'll look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, and I just want to reinforce how incredibly affordable our conference is, how you don't have to be an existing member of the Midwest Association of Independent Inns. You can, Steve, you have a national following. If someone from California wants to come to our conference, we wholeheartedly invite you to be participant in our conference. The more people that we have, the more robust our programming can be, the more I think people can, leverage each other's success. And if other associations across the country are interested in learning about our association, we're very open to that. We invite everyone to be a participant in our conference.
Absolutely. Members, non-members, in the Midwest, not in the Midwest.
Vendors, non-vendors.
Yeah. We have, very unique Airbnb properties that want to learn more about how they can maintain some additional exposure. And so, yeah, anybody is more than welcome.
Great. Definitely looking forward to it. All right, Matt, you want to take us out of here or what?
Sure thing. I will take us out. So this concludes this Frictionless Innkeeper podcast interview with Kerri Thiel, who's the Executive Director of the Midwest Association of Independent Inns. And she was joined with Randy Bangs, who is the Board VP Marketing Chair of the Midwest Association of Independent Inns. Our podcast is brought to you by the Frictionless Guest App, the digital concierge that helps your guests to live like locals. Learn how at frictionlessguest.com. Once again, that's frictionlessguest.com. And Kerri, Randy, and Steve, thank you so much for your time today, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kerri. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it.
We are audiostack.ai.
Combining AI writing, the best synthetic voices,
with production and delivery.
Be it ads, podcasts, or VOs for video.
Just like this ad. How would you utilize AI audio? For free.
Go to audiostack.ai/contest.
Give us just a few details.
And you could replace this spot and be heard by millions.
See webpage for T's and C's. audiostack.ai/contest.
I'm Victoria Cash. Thanks for calling the Lucky Land Hotline. If you feel like you do the same thing every day, press 1. If you're ready to have some serious fun for the chance to redeem some serious prizes, press 2. We heard you loud and clear. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com right now and play over 100 social casino-style games for free. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.